Good evening. Today I am talking about the value of a home. Okay, when people sell their home, of course they don't want to quote lose money, right? So I had an appointment today that I went on, and we were discussing the value of the home. And in discussing the value of the home, I laid out the facts and laid out all the comparable homes and the market value and the realistic expected sales price and the current value in this market. And let's say the listing appointment, the listing price was going to be, I said, realistically we were going to sell maybe between 230, depending on the market, but let's say 230 to 235, give or take. But realistically, it was kind of still at the same price that the owner had bought it for, 225. Okay, because the market had, the comparable homes had sold for about 108, 109 a square foot. And this home was purchased at 109 a square foot. So in discussing the realistic listing price, I said, well, if you want to list high, you can list at 239. And hopefully someone will buy it for 235, and if they ask for credits, they will close at 230. And I said, so is that the price you're thinking you want to list at? And the seller said, no, I think more like 244, 245. And no, I was a little surprised because, and the thinking of the seller was, well, that way they're always going to knock off 10 grand off the price, so I'm going to have to come down to 235 anyway. Well, that can bite you in the butt, okay? Because when you go above a certain price point, people usually, oftentimes, look in increments of $5,000 to $10,000. Okay, now in this price point, they might be looking up to 250. Okay, but with all my years of experience, which is a lot, and the fact that I started off working with buyers back in the day, and when I came to Corpus, I worked extensively with buyers once again because I was new here. I know what buyers are thinking, and I know what our competition is, and I'm trying to provide information to those sellers to understand the objections that the buyers will have. If we have any undesirable features or things around us, like sometimes there's you're on a busy corner, or you have a neighbor that's really kind of scary looking, or you have electric poles in your yard. There's a lot of things that it might be a great house, but these certain things are going to be objections that might keep us from getting an offer, especially at the tip-top price of the market, right? So if a home is selling for $118 a square foot and they give $5,000 in closing credits, right, on a new home, why would someone pay, and they might, but why would someone pay $113, $115 a square foot for an older home? Right, with some maybe potentially with some strikes against it, right? That's not new. So anyway, my encouragement to sellers is, look, if you can sell your home for more than what you bought it for, you're doing well. Okay, you're going to do well. And but if you sell it for what you bought it for, you're doing well too, even if it's 1-2 years later. So you don't want to quote lose money because you don't want to pay for the marketing to sell your home, which the last seller paid for, okay? Because the seller is paying for the marketing. The seller pays their realtor 6%, okay? And that realtor, if they sell it and they get a buyer, they get paid 6% because they're getting paid to sell your home and find a buyer. But the way realtors work is we work together, because the best way to find a buyer for you is being able to work in cooperation with other realtors and split our commissions 50-50. Okay? So, anyway, with that being said, it's just, now you're paying for the marketing and you're not losing money. You just paid yourself rent for a few years, and it would have cost you, in our market, it's cheaper to own than it is to rent. Some markets it's more expensive to own than it is to rent. But in our market, you're probably going to save yourself $100 to $200 just by owning a home versus renting a home if you're able to buy. Okay, so yeah, you don't want to, if you bought your house for $235, you want to sell for $235 and let's say 15 grand because you don't, you want to walk away with what you had, right, that you put into it. But if you haven't done significant improvements, and even your improvements will not give you a dollar for dollar return on your money. Sometimes they do, new kitchen remodels, bathrooms, etc., can get you a return on your money. But more often than not, you can't expect to make money on your home unless you've improved it. You know, a little bit of landscaping may or may not improve the value. Paint will add a little value, but not guaranteed. So before you run off and try to do stuff to sell your home and think you're going to make more money on it, talk to a realtor that's been around the block a few times and understand that, hey, even if you sell your home for what you bought it for, you've done well. You've maintained value. Now you just probably you're going to get the money out of it that you put into it, meaning any down payment that you had. But if you were VA or something, you might have to bring money to close. So anyway, just get a good realtor, understand what's really going on, and don't be too discouraged if you don't, quote unquote, sell for more than what you bought it for. Okay?